The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome. Good afternoon, and welcome to Jazzabrations and Beyond. I'm your host, Linda Morgan, along with my co-host who's here in the studio with me today, Torré, Brannon, Reese. Hey, Torré.
I am beyond.
Yes, we have so much to talk to you about today, so sit back, grab a glass of wine, some water, some Kool-Aid, and sit back and chat with us this 1 hour as we tell you all about what's going on in terms of upcoming events, what's happening in January, because January is National Mentoring Month. And I am so excited to have a co-host who is a mentor his whole life, 365 days a year.
Well, at least
he's mentoring. At least while school is in, right?
Right.
No, you mentored even outside of that.
No, yeah, father and all of that stuff.
Exactly. So even as mothers and dads, we are mentoring our children 24/7. And when I say I'm mentoring my 17-year-old, hey, Aaron, hopefully you're out there. He is on the job. I hired him, y'all, $25 an hour to do our social media while we're online. So you're going to be talking to Aaron when you post your little comments and everything. Hopefully you're there. If you want to call in, as always, our number is 323-293-3375. We would love to hear from you no matter what part of the show. Just chime on in and we will stop in mid-sentence and take your call. Ain't that right?
That's right.
So we
don't miss no calls.
We got a lot to talk about. So, Torré, let's at the top of this, we're going to talk about our main program that's coming up in January. Okay. January the 8th. Monday is the 7th when the kids come back to school off of their Christmas break.
Okay, so Monday is the 7th.
Right.
The
so
8th.
It's going to be on Tuesday.
Okay, so it's going to be on Tuesday, right. That's right.
The 8th.
Whatever the Tuesday is.
So what are you doing on Tuesday?
We're going to be mentoring.
I'm sorry. We do have in-studio guests who gives us some motivation. So every now and then you hear them in the background. Just ignore them like I am right now.
No, we're going to be at Locke High School in beautiful Watts, California. And we're going to have 20 young, beautiful, intelligent young ladies who are aspiring to be queens. They're princesses right now.
Correct.
So the name of the program is Princess to Queen.
Let me tell you a funny thing. At the City Club, I was talking about it to my women of the City Club, and I was talking so fast, I said, Princess to Queen. They said, Prince to Queens? I was like, they were like, I don't like Princess to Queen. I was like, oh, no. They were like, thought it was some gender thing. Prince to Queen.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no, you guys, it's young ladies who are princesses who we're going to mentor them into becoming queens.
Right. Exactly.
So it's princesses to queens.
I have a question for you.
I want to get that clear.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you could say one thing to a young lady, say 14 years old, 15 years old in high school, that could help them in their lives. If you could say one thing to them, you only had like 10 seconds to say it.
10 seconds.
So you only have a few words. What would you say to them that could stick?
You can be all that you want to be.
Okay.
You can be everything that you want to be.
Then they're going to say, well, where do I start?
But see, now that's more than 10 seconds.
I know. So that's the
So
next
I'd have to know the young lady to get into and see what she wants to inspire. It's all about inspiration.
Well, let me ask you like this.
Okay.
What was your central...
Ooh, don't go into my 14 backyard.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. We got to go.
We ain't going back there.
We got to go back at least 5-10 years because you ain't but 25 now.
Right.
So when you were 15, what was the number one thing on your mind? Your number one challenge in your life? What was going on? Just
my number one challenge at 15 was trying to get some of them white go-go boots so I can be in the cheerleader in the band.
Did you make it?
Eventually, I got them, but it was too late to be in the band. So I had some financial challenges going on back then. I don't know what was happening.
So did you?
But I got the boots.
Nope,
I didn't. I don't even think I marched in one thing, but I had them white boots.
But you got the boots.
You know them white go-go boots?
Go-go, you going way back. I said, I just told everybody you were 25. Now you're going to get the go-go books. No, but you know that our young ladies are confronted with so many issues today.
Yes.
They're trying to be, they're aspiring to be women, but oftentimes a lot of the images they see are totally not.
Ooh, in these videos. See, we didn't have that stuff going on when we was coming up. Too many distractions. They have access
to everything.
Yes.
They can see everything. They hear everything.
So I would say to these young ladies, stay focused.
Yeah.
Social media is not your best friend.
Right.
Stay focused on your goals in life.
How about boys? How do they stay?
Young men, I have a 17-year-old, as we all know, that I'm mentoring into college as we speak. And so with young men, you have to help them to see what they see.
Okay, so now let me give you this. Mm-hmm. I'm a father, as you know.
Mm-hmm. And I have 4 young, wonderful girls.
All girls. All girls. So I can remember when my oldest daughter came to me. Actually, she didn't come to me. She tried to go around me. And she was dressed in a way that I didn't particularly agree with, And I was pretty heated about it because I didn't, approve. And I blew up and I took the dress and,
ripped it up and
ripped it up. And I think I burned it. I don't know if I burned it or whatever I did, I look back and I'm like,
hindsight.
I kind of overreacted because I didn't really understand the motivation behind her wanting to. I didn't understand the pressures that she was under to look a certain way, to present herself, a certain way, the competition that she was dealing with, and all that stuff. I didn't at that point take time. That was my first child, so that was the one I had to learn
from. You took the road with.
But one thing I do remember is kind of calming down after a while, thinking through and talking to some people, particularly women who knew, better how to, navigate that set of issues. And what I did was I put a rule in place that said, look, anybody that wants to go out with you or talk to you, continuously, boy or young man, they have to come and talk to me, If they want to go out, I'm going to have to wait until you're about 16. And the first couple times you go out, I like to be there, So that was just my way of kind of putting something in place. Because I didn't have a father myself growing up. Right. So I'm learning as I go along, Unfortunately, but fortunately. So I just wanted to put that out there as we talk about mentoring, because now, this is 20 years later or so, as a teacher and educator and mentor, I'm seeing things that I didn't see back then even.
Oh, yeah. Well, we didn't have no internet back then. Get on the phone and Google stuff. Hey, Siri this, and hey, Siri that, and hey, Google this, and hey, Google that. We didn't have that.
So that kind of speeds things up.
Yes. All of our information came from our friends in school or library books where we actually went to the library and had to look up something. They don't have that now.
Well,
so
you can Google
instant.
now.
Right. Everything is instant. So parents even have to be on their game because their kids will know more than them if they're not up on their game based on the information that they can get quickly. So that's the thing I say to Aaron, all the time. He'll come tell me something and I'm like, okay, boy, hold up. That's something I don't know. Hey, Siri.
There you go.
Google. Whoever. Because we can't act like we know it all. Especially in this day and age.
Well, we don't know it all.
We don't know it all. And if we act like we know it all with our kids going to go find it from somebody else.
I'll tell you one thing I have learned as a teacher is listening is more important than talking.
Absolutely.
We can talk a lot sometimes, like over talk. And at a point, they kind of zone us out because it's too much of that.
Exactly.
And we have to kind of figure out how we can get them to talk, inspire them to talk and share and listen. And that's one of the cornerstones of our program.
You know that? This is where I learned my listening skills. Toastmasters. As a Toastmaster, we have different functionaries that are compacted in this 1 hour meeting. And listening is the most important skill in Toastmasters because we have to listen to people speak and listen for their ums, ers, or you knows. So every time somebody speaks, we got to tally them. And so that helps you to listen, not only listen for that, but to listen intently. And so over the couple of years, I learned that only by being a Toastmaster. So, and it's a great parent skill, because I wish I had had it with my daughter. She probably wouldn't have had some of the road challenges that she had. So I'm really paying attention with Aaron Morgan, because I have to listen to what he tells me. And then I have to make sure that what he's saying is what he said.
So you
hear
have
that?
to first we have ears so we can hear.
Exactly.
But hearing and listening is two different things.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you can listen to what they say, but you are not hearing what they're saying.
So let me, if you don't mind, jump to Lock High schools and the Lock High schools around this nation. And let me say, in urban centers, statistically, the girls are beginning to outdo the boys. And when I say outdo, I mean in the negative way, in terms of suspension rates, transferring out of school, OT, opportunity transfers, meaning that you got kicked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're getting into fights, you're cursing out teachers, you're doing things that used to be associated with male activities or male behavior, negative male behavior. Now we're seeing it more and more and more in the young ladies. And I think we have to ask ourselves, where is this coming from? Like, why are girls so aggressive these days? I know we got social media out there, so let's say that's a given. They see stuff. You can go to any of these sites, YouTube or whatever, and you'll see these fights. And if you count just with the naked eye, you'll probably see more fights among females up there than males.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's something to talk about. Like, what's going on? Right?
Well, you know what? I'm so glad that you are having me involved in this Princess to Queen, which is our program that's coming up. We're going to talk about it for January, because I don't know what's going on with the young women in school, because I've been so focused on Aaron and him and his friends. Case in point, he was supposed to go take the SAT yesterday, but he's trying to bring his two friends.
You better stop telling your son's business up here.
Who never, ever, but he knows, because of his love for other people, which his mama has displayed, he sometimes takes it on to degrees where he can't handle it. So anyway, long story short, they didn't make it to the SAT to take it yesterday.
But he is going to take that SAT.
He already took it, but he was going to take it again to up his score and to help his two friends who had never taken it.
But my point is that it's on his mind.
Yes.
Whether he took it yet or not.
Yes, and I said that to say something because we was talking about something. You had said something.
Well, we're talking about lack of focus, because at least your son is focused on some kind of goal.
Right.
So he's not going to do everything, quote unquote, the right way, whatever that is. Because sometimes our right way is not necessarily
it's not there.
The right way.
But I brought that up because you had said something. You had left me with something to ponder.
We're trying to figure out, where does this aggressive behavior originate?
Come from the young ladies.
Right.
So that's what I want to get involved with at his school. Find out.
So let's talk about the program, the curriculum that we have. It's called the Root curriculum, and the Root is spelled DA. That's the curriculum that powers See a Man, Be a Man, and now Princess to Queen. And as I've explained before, it's a 9-point curriculum, 9 themes.
Yes, can you say them 9 points?
First one is spirituality.
Spirituality.
And we're not talking about religion.
Different.
Two different things that we're talking about. And in the context of spirituality, we deal with meditation, yoga, contemplation, quiet time, self-care, etc. Then we go to culture. And when we talk about culture, we begin to discover who we are as human beings. Dr. John Henry Clark, one of our great historians, said that the way you identify yourself is based upon 3 things: your name, your language, and your culture.
Right.
And when you talk about culture, it encompasses like just so much in your life, right?
That's number 2.
That's number 2. Number 3 is career. And there's a distinction that we make between a career and a job.
J-O-B, just over
2 different things, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then we go from there to education. Education is just in short, the ability to quickly, or not quickly, but critically think through issues in your life. Critically, meaning that you're,
give it some thought,
as much of your brain as possible to figure this out. To go from A to Z, and to put emotion where it belongs, and to deal with critical thinking and reasoning. Next is economics.
4 is economics.
Okay, and we know that economics is not just about making money. right? It's the whole science of everything that has to do with prosperity versus something else. Then we go from there to politics. And we say that politics dictates
your everyday lifestyle.
Yeah, and if you're not involved or not fighting for something, then you fall for anything.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we deal with health. And health is not just eating right, because if you eat right and don't exercise, you're still in bad shape, right?
Right.
And vice versa. And we go from health to family. And in the context of the program that we talk about, family is not only your immediate family in your house, but it's the community around you.
Right.
So we say, I'm responsible for improving my community. And that's a pledge that we make on a daily basis. And the way the curriculum works is that, or the way it visually is laid out, it's circular. So spirituality is here, and then there's another circle, culture, and so on and so forth. In the middle, we put personal responsibility. And so at the end of, say, 9 months, you're responsible for the information that you now understand, that you have researched, that you know about. And what are you going to do with it? You know, there are people who have brilliant ideas. There are people who have fantastic plans on paper, like business plans and stuff like that. But if you don't have the courage to take action, then your plan is worthless. Mm-hmm. It's like that saying, faith without works is worthless. So our objective is to help empower young people, to help them empower themselves, to discover the innate gifts that they have within themselves, so that they can solve their own issues. Like one young man one day, he was like, I came here because I want y'all to change my life. I'm like, son, I can't change your life.
Right.
You can change your life. I will help you with what I know, but I don't know everything.
Right.
There are things that you know that you just have to act upon, right? So with the young ladies, I think some of those old values, you know, when I say old, I don't mean old and outdated. I mean underused or unknown values from our history, our traditions, have to come back.
Right.
They have to know that there is a distinction between male and female, right? Why would you want to act like a man?
Right. That whole Steve Harvey act like a man, think like a man.
Oh, yeah.
All that.
Well,
probably the twist.
I won't comment on Steve Harvey on this show. I don't want to get in trouble.
We didn't comment on it. When you just said that this little quip made me think about how he told you women to act like this and be just like that. But the Princess to Queen program kicks off next month.
In January.
In January, when school comes back. It's kicking off at Locke High, where Torré is a teacher there with this program throughout the 9 months. And I was sitting there counting on my finger, 9 months. Oh, yeah, that's how many months they in the school.
Well, we're going to have to crunch it because we're not going to have the 9 months. So we're going to have to double up. And, you know, I used to
between now, January and June.
Yeah, so now we're going to have to, how do you do the double Dutch rope?
Yes.
You got to double up.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll be able to crunch it in and get them six solid months of some pathway to life.
There you go.
Careers and all that. So I am so excited about that. I know we got a meeting after this. Yeah, we're going to be running out of here too to go and discuss it. I
have another question for you.
Okay.
Can you tell me, in terms of traveling, where is like the greatest place you've been to, that you've traveled to, that you?
I love the Bahamas.
Bahamas.
I've been to Korea. I've been to the Philippines. I've been to Hawaii. So, all this due to my.
So you've been around the world.
Yeah, I love the Bahamas. Just the weather, just the conch.
Would you say that your life has been different, or your thought pattern, or your behavior, or attitude has been affected by your travel?
Absolutely. My first travel outside of Los Angeles was when I became a Marine. My first flight to North Carolina.
Okay.
So that first flight changed my whole life and my perspective, because being a young black woman, never leaving L.A., first time getting on a plane, first time going.
How old were you?
I was 20, and still had never traveled outside of California. And so now I love to travel. So I make it a point. I've joined an organization where I travel once a year, somewhere, some other country.
You get out of here.
I'm out of here in March. March is Women's History Month. So this next March, maybe I can take one of these young ladies with me. We're going to Jamaica.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I was able.
You got to grab somebody and bring them with you. They ain't gonna they can't go by themselves. They got to have the resources and somebody to help them to be able to do these kind of things. And so, International Black Women's Public Policy Institute is a women's organization that we do have students.
Can you say that again?
International Black Women's Public Policy Institute. Okay. It's ran by my big sister, Barbara Perkins. Okay. And I love being a part of it because of that very fact. Once a year, we're in a foreign country, and we got initiatives that we do in those foreign countries. And then every September, we're in D.C. So those are two places that young ladies can travel to that they've never been, you know, that they can latch on to a group and say, help me become a mentee. I will, you know, that's what her whole organization is about. She has a string of mentees that she's mentored over her 20, 30 years in business. So I'm excited about that and the introduction of Princess to Queen.
Well, I would love for us to begin to plan to take these young ladies out of L.A., take them somewhere. I was able to travel at a very young age. I had been to Europe and et cetera. By the time I was 9 years old, I had been to Europe and so on and so forth, and lived in the Far East. And, you know, I've been to Dubai and all over Europe and down in the Caribbean and all of that. And so it just changes your perspective, you know, becomes much wider about this world.
Right.
Now, I'm going to mention something that's very tragic. It just happened last week. And this is a friend of mine who I grew up with. We were like brothers. And I'll call him KB. So KB, make a long story short, myself and CP, my other friend, I'll call him CP, took the test to get into the military. We were all 18 years old. CP and I passed the test. KB did not. When we came back home about 3 years later, KB's physical transformation was astounding in a negative way. He was a very handsome young man who now didn't look too kept. Make a long story short, what happened last week was I got a call from my brother. And KB's younger brother, who I didn't know growing up because he was much younger than us, took a can of gasoline and doused his mother with this can of gasoline and burned her alive and murdered his own mother. And I had just spoken to this lady about 2 months ago because she was concerned about KB. She thought that if he could lay eyes on me and we could lay eyes on each other, that it would help him. He had been through 25, 30 years of drugs and all kind of other stuff that he's been through, that I somehow escaped, you know, by the grace of God. And, you know, I was told not to regret that I couldn't meet with her again because it was just not in the cards.
Right, the timing.
So I had to get that out of my spirit. But I'm just so sorry that she's gone so tragically. Her mom, she was like a mom to me when I was growing up, and her my mom are the same age.
They're in New Orleans?
Yeah, but I think the reason I'm mentioning this is because I was able to get some mentoring somewhere in my life, you know, and then I went off to the military at 18, you know, and saw the world. And when I would come back to the hood and see KB and the other fellas, my perspective was totally different. My objectives were different. My goals were different. My view was wider. You know, I knew that there was more than just the block out here in this world. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have that, you know. Him failing that test dictated the rest of his life. And I think that if we can get in there, I know, when we get in there with these girls, you know, it's life-changing.
Right. And even at this, we're catching them in the 11th and 12th grades.
Well, 9th through 12th.
9th through 12th grades. That's the model, the years when everything starts kicking off in your brain. Where I'm going, what I'm going to do, how life is. So we're catching them at the most critical time, I think.
It's not too late.
It's not too late. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have mentors when I'm pretty sure I had teachers. Mr. Sullivan in Fremont High, he was my mentor. He was my English teacher. I went to school early every day just to get to class to be with, this stuff make you tear up. Lordy. Mm-hmm. I know all this emotion start coming up.
Right.
But if they have a reason to get to school and want to be in school, they're going to learn. They're going to excel. Mm-hmm. You got to have, they got to have a love for wanting to be there. And this program, I think, we'll be able to help them to have a reason to come, at least come to school every day.
But you see that you remember that teacher's name? I bet you can't remember every teacher's name.
I cannot.
The ones that stand out.
Him and Mr. Niebergall, I will never forget them.
Yes.
And Mr. Niebergall was my math teacher.
Right.
Hated Mr. Niebergall because he made me go all the way to Calculus Plus.
Right.
Didn't even like math, but I knew that him making me do that, I graduated in the top 10% of my class. And so, I say that to say this is a great program. I'm excited about it. And I can't wait to pour into another young lady some positiveness.
That they need.
We'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back here with you on Jazzabrations and Beyond. Stay tuned.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars come through my room, while your loving attitude lights up a flame that lights the on the wings of every kiss drifts a melody so soft and sweet. In this sentimental bliss, you make my paradise so complete. Rose petals seem to fall, it's all like a dream to call you mine. Ooh, my heart's a lighter thing since you made this night a thing divine. In a sentimental mood, I'm within a world so heavenly, and I never dreamt that you'd be loving sentimental me. It's all like a dream to call you mine. Oh, my heart's a lighter thing since you made this night a thing divine. In a sentimental mood, and I never dreamt that you'd be loving sentimental sentimental me. Loving sentimental.
Welcome back, y'all. I had to take a little break there. I got too teary-eyed to be able to continue to talk. So, welcome back to Jazzabrations and Beyond. I'm your host, Linda Morgan, and my co-host here, Torré Brannon Reese. Stop making me cry on the air, Torré.
It's all my fault. I'll take it.
This is really, this is some serious conversation. And we are talking about sowing into the next generation of young women, princesses, helping them to become queens. Mm-hmm. I don't even have my crown yet.
You got your crown.
I'm going to get my crown through this mentoring.
Yes.
Because these young ladies will be the test for whether or not they consider, because they will be very critical of the people who are sowing into their lives, which they should be. So I'm open. I'm welcoming that with open arms.
So I had mentioned earlier, my sister, we were talking about the young ladies and where they get this aggressive behavior from, and some of the habits and so on and so forth. And we know that social media is it could be a negative, and it could be a positive influence also. When I was growing up, my mother made sure that we read books. This is a book here of my spiritual mentor, and I'm sure for many other people, on Malcolm X.
May 19th.
And once I read this book on Malcolm X, I was able to understand some qualities or some characteristics about manhood that was critical for me, because I didn't have a father in the house. So seeing how he operated in the world through reading books was very critical to my development. And he wasn't the only one. Of course, Dr. King was another. And then when the Black Panthers emerged on the scene, as a youngster, I saw that. Now, I had some uncles running around in my life. But I was mentioning that, you could actually learn from somebody who may be doing the wrong thing. In my case, it was a pimp. His name was Sleepy. And he was not only a pimp, but he was the top Mac man, as we used to call him.
In New Orleans?
In New Orleans. He was the Iceberg Slim of New Orleans. And he happened to be like an uncle. He was a friend of the family, and he would be around when he wasn't doing his thing, just hanging out at the house. And I came to him at a critical moment in my life, letting him know I wanted to be like him and that I was ready to go. I had the young ladies ready, and, I thought I had to rap down, And I went to him, and he looked at me with those cold, gray eyes, and he barely would, he wouldn't move much of his body. He pretty much just moved his head. He just look at you, and kind of looked through you, and spoke real slow and determined. And he told me, that's not you. That's not what you're going to do with your life, son. You're going to school. You're smart. He just put that into me at that moment. He said, you're not going to be like me, because you're going to wind up in prison or in that graveyard. Once he told me that, that whole inspiration, whatever it was, just
went away. Yes,
left my body, because I knew that if he was the cat,
and he told you yes,
yeah, and he's telling me no, then I can't go any higher than him, right? And so he was a mentor in that way, and he was a good mentor, even though he was doing the wrong things. By the way, blessed, he just passed away last year, but he lived his whole life, and he was able to get out of the game and become legit and all that kind of thing. But we need mentors in our lives,
Absolutely.
So that's my whole point, and we can get that through books too.
Speaking of books, I'm going to gift the girls a book that I'm in, that I was part of. It's the gift. When we come back on the next commercial break, I'm going to put it up. The Pearls of Mentoring. I'm just hacking the name up. Barbara, I know you're going to probably be. But my big sister, Barbara Perkins, wrote a mentoring book. That's why I was mentioning January is National Mentoring Month.
Well, we need a central text. We have one for the boys, so we need one.
Oh, we got this book. It's the pearls of wisdom, black pearls, and she did this whole study around black pearls. They're the most cultured pearls. It takes 10,000 of them to find one, and so the culturists are digging and diving for these one good pearl to make a strand of black pearls. And so I happen to be one of the authors in this book. It's 35 of us, and I'm going to gift. So go to Amazon. I'm going to go to Amazon. Aaron, go to Amazon and see how much I can order these books for. I probably can go straight to the publisher, but I may do that. But I'm going to gift them with this book, so I'm going to have it before we start the program next week.
Yeah.
So, Barbara, if you're looking at the show, can you please just send me 20 copies of our book? I'm going to bring up the cover when we come back off of the break.
It was 25, so we can have one for the mentors.
25. I had said these books are expensive. I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. But now that I just said it, I got it. Can some of my friends donate some money so I can buy these books? I really don't have it. I'm just up here talking into the universe because I know when I talk to the universe, it generally gives me back what I asked for. Yeah. So I just need these books so that we can gift these books. Use it as a tax write-off at the end of the year. Send me a check for $250. That'll cover all the books I need to give these young ladies. Mm-hmm. And it's all about mentoring. Yeah. Because you do need someone, and I've joked last year about not ever having a mentor. And so I reached out, really trying to reach out for a mentor. And everybody like, shut up, sit down. You don't need no mentor. I said, I do need a mentor. Even though y'all think that I'm, don't need one, I do need one.
Well, let me say this. Books are living documents.
Yes.
They don't go out of style. Mm-mm. They don't become irrelevant. They don't become old, whatever that means. Mm-mm. So you can always find some comfort. Now, also, people who've lived and passed on don't have to be gone. This is one of my mentors.
Absolutely.
Who we just laid to rest, or I would say celebrated her life on Friday. This is Dr. Loretta Jones, and she was a mentor to so many people. And she was such an inspirational person that you couldn't help but be like invigorated if you interacted with her.
Our Wednesday Toastmaster meeting was at her office.
Okay, so she's...
Her daughter, was a Toastmaster with me.
Well, we're going to see her in just a little bit, so she's going to be a part of the mentoring program. So I just wanted to pay homage to this woman who I can't even, we'd have to do a whole series of shows to talk about her. But she affected so many people, but she was the founder and director of Healthy African American Families, HAF, which is in Leimert Park.
So January, our whole shows in January will be all about mentoring. So maybe for half of our shows, half of the time we'll talk about our mentors that have gone on to heaven, what their impact was on us, and bringing in some existing mentors, into the show. Some of the women who are going to be part of Princess to Queen, bring them in, let the audience get in touch with them. So we got so much. I am so glad. Let me tell you, I'm so grateful for this platform because yesterday I came to Felicia's class. Mm-hmm. I learned so many more things. I was the only one in there that was that had a show on here. Everybody else, it was like 20 people, 12 other people. None of them had the show. So, but when I sat here, I just jumped in. Didn't have no clue about being on a radio, podcast, and none of that. The fact that Felicia was mentoring us into getting a podcast was the absolute thing that I needed, because the pointers that I got for us going into 2019, we're going to be off the chain. Mm-hmm. This show is about to take a whole nother level that you and I are not even prepared for. So it's just going to be beyond our wildest dreams, what we're going to accomplish in 2019 with this platform. And I say that because I was about to give this up. Because I was just tired of doing it. That was like, it was a hobby to me. I signed up. I was like, yeah, let me come and sit for an hour. Not realizing that it was more than that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't quit. I just cut it back to two, to the 2 shows a month. But then I started thinking about it. I said, as we get busy, we're going to need our other 2 Sundays to be able to talk about all the things that we need to do. Mm-hmm. And we talked about how to raise money and the donations and all that. So I'm just putting that out there right now in the universe to our village. Mm-hmm. That we're going to need the money to fund this. And we're going to increase the shows so that we can bring more people on to be more impactful, to be able to get this word out. I hired a little digital marketer for us. I've been out there. We got a movie producer coming to the show next month to help us with our backdrop. Because he said, although this is a wonderful backdrop, he's coming in to give us some life to it so that we have some visibility, that televisions will attract us and pick us up off of the internet, off of the YouTube, and want to sponsor us. So that's coming up for our next week. I am so busy in my mind. Y'all don't even know about it.
You got me so excited.
Yes. Yes. It is about to go down. But
yeah, well, let's do it.
January, again, is all about mentoring. We're starting our Princess to Queen program at Locke High School. We have about 20 young ladies.
To start with.
And so I'm looking forward to that. And we will keep you updated week by week to let you know about their progress, because this is going to be an ongoing thing, because we're starting late with them. So like he said, we got to double up to make sure that we get them to where the boys are so that they graduate at the same time with the same amount of information. And that's doable. We just figure out how to truncate everything. I'm good with looking at something and see the sweat beads rolling down my head. I'm all excited. But yes, so it's going to be amazing to start this program. And because I'm so indebted to Los Angeles Unified School District, as a parent on a school site council for 12 years, y'all owe me. So that debt will be to put this program into the LA Unified School District.
That would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful. So that's our goal. I'm putting
It's
it out there in
needed.
the universe. Princess to Queen coming to LA Unified School District via Torré family.
Now, what we didn't say is this is a program specifically for African American young ladies.
In every
Our
high
program.
school, there's African American young
Right,
ladies.
right. They need
Which
a
is-
special kind of treatment.
Absolutely. And LAUSD is not no secret to that, because Aaron is in Black Male Youth Academy,
Right.
which is just black men within his school.
Right.
And they have their own little class at third period. So they're good with this. These kind of programs, it must not be new to them. So we're just going to say to LAUSD, we need Princess to Queen in all of your high schools. Okay?
Oh.
So
I like how you talk.
that's it. We're just going to make it happen. I'm going to go to a meeting. I'm going to be talking about it, Princess to Queen. Every time I go to a parent meeting now, it's going to be, excuse me, have any of you heard about the Princess to Queen program? Oh, yeah, I heard about that over at Locke. Oh, you did? Okay, let's collaborate. Can we get that? And that's how you spread it.
And since you're such a great promoter, you can slide in a little bit about see a man, be a man.
See a man, be a man. You know what? If they try to get rid of Black Male Youth Academy, I'm going to see about let's go to my alma mater, Charmel. Let's get Sam Bam at Locke.
But you know,
We're alumni. I mean, of Fremont. We're alumni.
we're going to put this, see if we can get a shot of that. We're going to put this up here also. Every organization has to have its own voice.
That's right.
So we have our literary organ here called A Question of Culture. And like when you write something, we can put it in here.
Absolutely. We send this out to Constant Contact.
Get the young ladies to write poetry and stuff like that. And this will come out quarterly. And this is the first issue here. You know, I can't go through each page, but
we got it. It's a little 8-pager.
It's got, you know, that's about to see a man, be a man. So the next one will be about Princess to Queen.
Right.
And the stuff we'll be doing there. Just wanted to let people know. So we do have this on social medias, on Facebook. And
Send
all
us your email if you would like for us to include you on our email list, where we can send you our newsletter once a quarter. That'll be coming out. We do have a Constant Contact list for you to join and for you to receive that. So that's going to be a great thing, to be updated about what we're doing with the young ladies and the young men. I just cannot wait for the vision of God to take a hold of us in 2019. We not only are we educational mentors, we are musically mentors. Besides him being a doo-wopper and a soul singer and an R&B guru,
that didn't sound too good.
Torré, yes, guru is good. It's a good thing. He sings and has his groups and stuff. I'm into jazz and blues. LaRon, put them flyers up. I have a quarterly jazz event at the City Club.
But when you going to hire a soul singer? That's what I want to know.
Hey, you know what?
I love the jazz.
I just said you can have the October slot. So put that card up. Yeah, because it's only 4.
Oh.
Jazz in the Sky. So I got 4 dates. January 19th, April the 13th, July the 20th.
That'll be my birthday show then.
October?
My birthday is October the 8th.
Hey, so that's the birthday show, October.
Right.
You Soul Group coming in October.
All right.
So this is a series that I have at the City Club.
Better get us now before we get too big.
That's right. So it's 4 months. Save the dates. Look at that. Save those dates. Let me know. Put in the comments which one you want to come to. It's a private club. You have to be invited by a member, which I am that member, that you can come through the club and come to these events too. The next flyer. So in celebrating jazz, I do jazz and blues celebrations.
Right.
Jazzabrations is why the name came from. Jazzabrations, celebrating jazz. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I realized that I wasn't celebrating any blues artists.
Okay.
So put up that blues flyer, LeBron, for me. Here is the first Thursday blues that happens at Barbara Morrison's.
Oh, all right.
Every first Thursday, I am now the Bluesabration. See over in the top, in the right corner?
Okay.
I'm going to be celebrating a blues legend. He automatically already has the blues legends coming to the event. So I just partnered with him, a collaboration.
Okay.
And now I am the first Thursday Bluesabration
Gotcha.
at Barbara Morrison's. So twice a month, I'm celebrating jazz and blues.
Mm-hmm.
First Thursdays at Barbara's. Fourth Thursdays downtown at LA Athletic Club.
Mm-hmm.
So your sister, Sister Girl is busy. We are with our music as well as with our education. Can't make for a better concoction than to be connected with some high, powerful individuals who want to do some things for us.
Well, I got a little red rooster.
Yes.
I can do some blues too now.
Absolutely.
All right, don't leave me out of the blues.
Absolutely. So, you know what? Torré interviewed a song on this show one time. So you're going to take us out of here on this show today by singing something. But I just say all that because not only are we, all about education with our women and young men,
Right.
we are musically involved.
Can I talk about my
Yes.
Because everybody knows about my vocal group, the vocal group that I'm a part of, I shouldn't say. Street Corner Renaissance. But
yes.
really, Everything with Soul is the name of my band. And it's a concept that is indicative of, New Orleans musicians.
Go to my Facebook and you'll see a bunch of videos that I took at him at the world stage.
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, yes. I share them all with you. They're on my Facebook. But
Facebook. I got to go to your Facebook.
We had a ball.
So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because a lot of people, they see me as a doo-wop singer. But that is my heart and soul, really, because it's about my hometown. And everything with soul means that the musicians in New Orleans, let's go back to the 1800s and the early 1900s, people that many people haven't heard of, like Buddy Bolden. Buddy Bolden is the first recognized personality in the history of jazz music.
I need to connect you with John Wilkerman right now because he's doing a jazz documentary. And knowing that he said jazz started, he knows that jazz was created from New Orleans.
Yeah.
So he can start right there.
And if I said Buddy Bolden, he and I would have a great conversation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to connect you.
And then you have people like Freddie Kephart and Sidney Bechet, Joe King Oliver, Louis Armstrong, and others. Those musicians could not just play one style of music. They didn't call themselves jazz musicians.
Right.
That came from somewhere else. Buddy Bolden used to play in a place called Storyville in New Orleans. It's like if you go to New Orleans and you go to the French Quarter, which used to be the entire city at one time, and you keep walking to the back, like going towards what they call Esplanade Avenue and everything. Well, that's where Storyville was, right?
All them little side streets.
Well, it was a red light district that was set up by the city. Prostitution was legal, drinking without, in New Orleans, of course, has retained a lot of that culture. You can go to New Orleans and just drink and get drunk. And
walk the streets with a drink. I've been there one time. Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Yes. Go. Wait a minute. What about the drive through and get the margaritas in the car?
So that's why I say when you say blues, I'm like, okay, I can play the blues. I can sing jazz, R&B, funk, all of that. Everything with soul.
Yes.
Soul is the central ingredient.
So everything with soul is who we're going to have at Jazz in the Sky.
Yeah, that's
you're going to kick us off. You're going to kick us off into the next
I want to do something before then, though.
I know it. Okay, but you'll be able to come. I have other opportunities. Hold up.
Yeah, let's do something. February or something.
We have live music after our chairman's happy hour every third Thursday of the month. So I got you.
All right.
I got you. See, I'm so glad that I'm grateful that I have opportunities to hire my friends. Like I told my friends, I'm hiring my friends without some drama. I don't have to be trying to hire no divas who want to tell me how they want to run their show, run my show. I don't have to hire you. I just don't want to. I'm not doing no drama.
I can't see nobody coming telling you what to do.
Oh, you can imagine. Trust and believe. I'm just grateful that I have the platforms to be able to hire my friends, but I'm not taking on no drama with it. And so the easier, the more calm that I can be in doing all this, because I have multiple things going on. So if I call you and you don't call me back, you miss an opportunity. Maybe you didn't care. I don't care either. So it's like I'm getting to that point now where I don't have to chase after people to give you money to make you perform because I got the opportunity.
It's a whole lot of
sound a little
talented
cocky. Yeah, it can be cocky because I'm sounding cocky.
A whole lot of talented people out here.
Absolutely.
No shortage
and I'm
of talent.
grateful for the opportunities to be able to give back because I don't want to be no manager. I don't want to book people. I don't even want to do all that. But when I get the opportunities and I pick up the phone and I call you and I text you and say, hey, hit me back, I'm only giving you a certain amount of time and then I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break because my throat is dry, and we will be right back with Jazzabrations and Beyond with some good stuff. Be right back, y'all.
Right on.
Welcome back, y'all. I'm so excited. As y'all can see, it is the first Sunday in December. I forgot to say that at the top of the hour because I always want you to know the relevance of our shows. The last show will be the third Sunday of this month. We are going out with a bang and looking forward to 2019, Torré, aren't we?
Man, it's going to be something else, Wonderful time. thank you so much for coming out to my show. Because, we did the whole event, the whole festival.
I know.
I've known Rivers. And I don't get a chance to really focus on my music like I want to, particularly with this band, because I'm the one, right?
Right.
So to see you guys there.
Just dancing. It was up about.
Yeah, that was.
Just wait. 2019?
Cool.
I've known Rivers is going to take a whole nother level of gigs.
That's...
We got our platform here.
Yeah.
We're going to promote it. We're going to organize. It's going to be off the chain. Because between the two of us, y'all don't even understand the power that's up in here. I just had to let you say. The power that's right here is amazing.
Yeah.
And when I decided to ask, I just said, before I quit, Jesus, before you just have me to just quit this radio, just ask Torré if you want to do it. If you had told me no, I would have not been on the air today because I would have quit. Because I was,
Well, you won't have to talk about it no more.
But I'm just saying the energy of just not being fearful of just asking and putting it out there in the universe. So I am a firm believer. If you don't put it out in the universe don't know what you want, then don't be mad when you don't get what you didn't ask for.
Well, the craziest thing is that I've been asked for many years, was I on the radio? Like, some people, I guess they mistake my voice for somebody else's voice or something. And I would always say, no, not really. So
when you
ask, now I can say, yeah, I'm on the radio.
That's right. And see, that's the power of friendship, the power of networking, and the power of putting it out there in the universe.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful for you. I'm
grateful for you.
To just come in here off of my 1 year. I mean, we made 1 year in August. We're looking forward to our second year in August of 2019. Just doing the doggone thing, taking it to a whole nother level, telling our story. And we got to get on telling our story more. So every time we come, we may create a segment, a 15-minute segment to tell our stories.
Okay.
Because telling our stories is as important as us being ourselves and doing the work that we're doing. Yeah, we got so much work to do. We have tons of people that we support and we do things for. But we, too, have to be able to tell our story. So whether we come back next year with the last half of the show to tell our stories, 15 minutes each, or the beginning of the show, 15 minutes each to tell our story, we're going to use this platform for us, too. Because it's not only for us to give to others, it's also for us to give to ourselves.
Exactly.
And create the legacies that we need to create for our children.
So thank you for making this show about mentoring.
Yes.
It's critical that we spend quality time. I tell people all the time, I've seen, particularly at Locke High School, I can talk about, I've seen so many people come with these like multi-million-dollar curriculums and stuff like that. Doesn't mean anything if you don't love those young people.
Absolutely.
And they can tell whether or not you really love them or if you're just somebody there to try and get some money some kind of way. They can tell. They're very good at, seeping out who's authentic and who's not. So this is, if not the most important, one of the most important things that runs my life, that governs my life is spending time with young people. And the time is critical. Just spending time with them. You don't always have to know what to say. You don't always have to have a great curriculum. You just have to be able to be there.
To be a listener.
Spend some time, listen to them, let them know you care. And a lot of that stuff will take care of itself. As long as they know that somebody really cares. And you make a phone call to them. Like some of the people won't be able to be there all the time. They could be on the phone,
Well, with this technology that they got these days, we can Skype them. We can chat with them. We can do all kind of technology that we didn't have when we were coming up. So y'all better look out because I'm a little techie. I got so many tech tools in my pocket, and I'm raising, and unbeknownst to me, I'm raising techies.
Hey.
Aaron is going to be a computer science major. He's getting ready to start putting together websites from scratch, which has been my thing forever. Can somebody build my website? Can somebody build us a new website?
You got it right there.
Always you don't have the funds. So I've met a little digital marketer. I know we got to go because we got 2 minutes left, but I met a digital marketer and I told him, I said, let me tell you something, young man. I said, I may not always have the funds, but let's make this a win-win. You got the skills to build the web, to do the digital marketing. I may have the resources to put you up here in the City Club. So let's trade off. Everything is not always about money. It's a win-win. Whenever it's a win-win, my mentor who's been in my life for the past 10 years, which I go to the Power Networking Conference every year. George always says, you add value to someone, you ain't got to write a check later because you've already added that value. So I just say that to say, always add value to someone else and you don't have to worry about the returns. And we're here every first and third Sundays of the month, 3:00. No one didn't call in today. We didn't need y'all to call in today because we had so much to talk about. We didn't want to talk to y'all anyway.
So that's 3:00 Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard Time, 3 to 4 every day.
Right.
So do us a big favor. Share our show out to your friends and family. Don't be stingy. Don't try to hold on to it. Let your friends decide whether or not they want to see our show. Share it out and we'll be right here next third Sunday on December the 16th, I believe it is. Whatever the third Sunday is. Come on back here, y'all, and join us on Jazzabrations and Beyond. I'm your host, Linda Morgan, and my co-host,
Torré, Brannon, and Reese.
Torré, Brannon, and Reese. See y'all next third Sunday. Have a great Sunday.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
All right.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars come through my room, while your loving attitude lights up a flame that lights the gloom on the wings of every kiss. Drifts a